Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Well, I hinted that I'd have a surprise guest. I did not tell anyone because I was so excited and just in case something happened, but it didn't because she's not just a reality star. She's a real star, professional actress, so she's very professional and she showed up and it is everyone's favorite, Denise Richards.
Thank you for having me.
And she came just as I dreamed, with a perfectly cute face and a top knot.
I had to do the top knot for you.
A tank, a nice tank, a nice tan. Now, when I made this plan for you to come here to my office in Calabasas, I did not realize until the last episode that you are no longer in Malibu.
No, I'm not.
So you moved to another part of LA.
Yes,
It's in Brentwood.
We're in Brentwood right now.
And how is that?
It's good, but it's after the fires and everything, trying to figure out. I love Malibu, but it was pretty traumatic and realizing there's one way in and one way out. So
Freaked you out.
Yeah, it did.
And so, is it okay with the girls' school and stuff? Are you closer from where you guys
We're further
start?
from their school, but
Okay.
Aaron's center is in Malibu, so we're there all the time anyway.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your house, Camille let us know that it was rented.
Right. And
thank God that you just get up and leave.
But you know what?
I know.
I had just sold my house, and Aaron and I wanted to figure out where we wanted to live, and
well, there's nothing wrong with renting.
Yeah, actually, the rent was more than my mortgage anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, I definitely think sometimes in interims that is the way to go.
Well, we wanted to figure out. We knew we were getting married and where we wanted to really settle down, and we had never lived on the beach. And wanted to see what that was like before we made that commitment, thank God. But I know, it was really rude she made that comment, but whatever. A lot of people rent. Like, I never hid the fact. I don't care.
No, not at all. And then what was so great is that you just could not have been, like, more gracious about the fires and just like, we've been to 5 or 12 hotels, but... I mean, at least we can afford a hotel. And it was like everyone, it's the way you should be because you know that there's people that had suffered more. But it was a huge nightmare for anybody we were unscathed where I live. But I have friends that have lost a home. And, that whole weekend I was performing in San Diego, and it was literally like I just couldn't look at my phone for 3 days. Like, it was scaring me so much, and I wasn't even there, but I was like, like I told my son, and I said, listen, don't let Dad have anything to drink tonight. Because I'm like, if you have to get up and leave, I go, you're going to need to pack both cars because he drives. And then I go, but also just take your brother and the cat. Like, if he's going to be stubborn about it, I don't care as much about you and your brothers. But they were like, of course, to me, when you're watching the news, it seems like it's in your back. You don't know. And it wasn't anywhere near me, thank God, because I'm south of the Boulevard in Woodland Hills. But, oh, yeah.
And I think you think that it's not going to come to you, but it did.
It was crazy.
But, I filmed not that long ago up in Northern California, and it was so sad for me to see, obviously, Paradise City is gone, and a lot of the people there are still living in motels, and, they can't afford to rebuild. So that's where I think I'm so grateful that we do have the means.
Yes.
A lot of people don't, and it's, it was a very heartbreaking situation for so many.
Yeah, no, it really was. Okay, so first of all, I want to get into your whole life story, but how did the Housewives approach you? Had you been approached years past? Like, what made you decide to do it this time, and what?
I was approached in the years past where I thought it wasn't the best time for me because in doing the show, I wanted to be really honest, and there was a lot of stuff going on publicly and personally.
So when was the first time they asked you?
Oh gosh, I don't even remember.
But like before it ever aired, like the first round?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the first season. It was after it started airing, and it was brought up to me, and I just didn't want to. I want to be honest, and I wasn't in a place to where you couldn't ignore a lot of the stuff that was going on publicly in my life. So this time around, I said to Lisa Rinna, we were talking, and she loves doing the show so much, and so that's kind of how it came about this time. And I thought, why not? I'm in a place where I a lot of that stuff is in the past, and I would be comfortable talking about things if it
Right.
came up. But you know, when stuff's so public, you can't ignore it.
Well, I remember I saw Lisa Rinna years ago at Ross Matthews' like book party, and there was a little blurb. Now, I have been a fan of the show since day one. Okay, like before.
I was too.
Before, I mean, like OC when it was sad and like nobody even taught. The girls were all living separate lives, and like way back when it started. I mean, I watched Bravo before anyone even watched Bravo. There was a show that Bravo had on that I've like tweeted to Andy, and I'm like, honestly, like if I had one dying wish, I need to watch this series, and it was called Child Stars and Their Moms and Dads or something, and it was like a documentary about all the kids that come out here and live at the Oakwood Apartments for pilot season.
Oh wow, I didn't
And
know
I
about
was
this
like,
show.
well, nobody else did because the network had just started. Like it was one of those weird networks. Bravo was not
Right.
even close to like E or anything. It was this weird little, and I was like obsessed with it because I did child acting. My sister had kids in it. There was an element of like the pageants before Honey Boo Boo. It was fascinating. But anyway, getting back to the Bravo. So I see Lisa Rinna and I go, I'm like, I saw that they're talking to you and I think you should do it. And she's like, I don't know if I should do it. And so then when she did do it, I'm like, do you remember when I told you that you should do it? And she said, I do. I do. And I really think she is so fun and great on it.
And by the way, you have her voice.
I
down
love,
so
thank
well.
you.
It's
I
brilliant.
love it. I love the whole Harry fucking Hamlin.
I love the
and
Harry fucking Hamlin. I laugh so much with that.
I know,
Especially
and then
you
sometimes
do
when
it.
I
It's
do it, I'm
funny.
like, then I'm like, does she? Then I'm like, maybe she's never said Harry fucking Hamlin.
No,
or
she
when
has said
or
Harry
when I
fucking
do
Hamlin, I
to
think.
read, I end everything with like, you know, it was PK's birthday, mind you. And then people are like, they're like, you say mind you, like, I'm like, I wonder if Dorit even says mind you. But now it's like become part of my
It's so
impression
brilliant, though. I
of
love
Dorit.
it.
So then when they came around this time, what made you go?
I
"All
thought
right."
it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I'm a fan of, was a fan obviously before
Yes.
I was on it, and thought, you know, this could be fun. And Aaron was
Aaron.
thought
Yes.
it would be good. I don't think he realized what he was getting himself into. But yeah, no, I mean, Lisa has such a good time on it that
Yeah.
I thought, why not?
I think Aaron comes off great. Because it's like some of the husbands just aren't any part of it. And it's pretty
Right.
obvious to the viewers that whatever the case is, they have an agreement with their wife. They're just not
Right.
showing up. And then there's some that are super involved, like PK, which
Mhm.
I like the PK scenes. I like that he's super into it and kind of involved in
I do
storylines and
too.
stuff. And then there's people like Aaron and Mauricio that I think just do it perfectly. Like they come to the stuff. They don't just completely bail. They
Right.
get in the
Yeah,
outfit.
no, they're supportive
They come to the
husbands.
stuff, but they're smart enough not to like,
Engage
you
and get too
know,
involved.
tell some woman off or something that's a cast
Exactly.
member or like anything, but like they'll be the sound, you know, advice or
Right.
whatever. And so I'm glad that he did it. Now, how did you meet him? Now, you said you went to an appointment of his and then ended up having sex in his room. Is
well,
that,
not exactly that way, but yes. No, I started going to a center for.
What does he do?
He
Acupuncture? What is
does,
it?
no, he does frequency healing.
And how does that even work?
I'd have to have him explain it. It's very hard for me to even explain it, but he works with people that have different diseases, infections, injuries. I went to him for DNA rejuvenation and like preventative. I lost my mom to
Right.
cancer years ago, and so after that I started looking at different ways of preventing and
Like a
being-
holistic prevention. And yeah.
more of an alternative. Well, I guess it's called alternative. But anyway, so I started going, and he and I have a lot of mutual friends too, so we knew of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did you know him when he was with Nicolette Sheridan?
I met him once when he was with her, and they were only married for a very short time.
Yeah.
A few months.
Just like Harry fucking Hamlin.
Harry fucking Hamlin.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's how we
Yeah.
met. But yes, did we have sex in there? Yes, but it was after hours. We went on a date, and then we were going back there, and then whatever. And we've been together ever since.
And so I love that. Okay, so let me get into your career. So I was I noticed that you had posted a while ago of your first Holy Communion photo.
Yes.
So you are Catholic too?
I was, yes.
Raised Catholic.
Raised Catholic,
so
yes.
same here. And I think that's like, I always think it's interesting when people are raised Catholic, because even if you don't like totally practice it, there's things that I notice that people, it just comes to you. It's
That
like
Catholic guilt.
the Catholic guilt, it's doing your Christian service.
Right.
It's all of that just comes to you, that I think that I see you as just when you're like, even when you're with Camille, like, Camille, you can't say that. Like you really are like, what? This is bad.
Yeah, no, I have a very open mind,
Uh-huh.
and I'm very liberal.
Right.
But you can't take that Catholic girl out of you.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Exactly. So you grew up in Northern California? Or where you-
Illinois.
Oh, Illinois.
Yeah,
Oh,
outside
okay.
of Chicago. I grew up in Downers Grove.
Oh, I said Northern California because you must have posted it when you were in Northern California.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. And so then when you're such a beautiful child then, like were you doing any kind of like local modeling? Like how did your whole career start?
I didn't do it then. I did it when I was in high school.
Okay.
When I moved to San Diego, my dad worked for Illinois Bell, and he got tired of the winters and being outside. And my parents were fans of Battle of the Network Stars.
Really?
And
Yeah.
watched the show, and it was in January. My dad said he couldn't believe that these celebrities are in shorts and t-shirt in January, and we're freezing in Illinois. So he moved us to California because he was tired of the weather.
Love
And,
it.
Then when I was in high school, my mom entered me into a model search.
Oh.
Do you remember the Esprit,
Yes.
the clothing? So it was an Esprit model search,
Okay.
and I placed second, and a modeling agent there had signed me. And I
In
started
San Diego.
actually, the agency was in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. So would you have to drive from San Diego
Yeah,
for all the calls?
my parents drove me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when was your first like real big break for acting or whatever?
Well, I did so many pilots that didn't ever go.
Yeah, but that's
Um,
still such a huge feat that
yeah, I
you
did
like
a
got a
pilot.
pilot, you know?
I did a
like,
pilot for Aaron Spelling that we all thought would have gone because it was during the 90210.
What was
in
that about?
Melrose. It was called Piers 66, I think. It took place in Florida,
Uh-huh.
and very similar to 90210.
So you were playing a high school kid or?
No,
college?
I think I was playing like just out of high school, like
Okay.
20, college, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember. So long ago. And we were all very bummed, obviously, think that it didn't go because we thought for sure this was,
Yeah.
we were going to all move to Florida and
Yeah.
stuff. Never went. And then I did a pilot for the producer, the same as Married with Children.
Yeah.
That one didn't go either.
So was that like a sitcom with a
Yeah, it was
live
a
audience?
sitcom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did a lot of those guest stars. I played a lot younger. When I was 20, I was playing, 14, 15 years old, and I was able to obviously work longer hours than
Yes.
some of the younger. So I always played longer, and I was able to build up my resume. But I would say obviously my big break was with Starship Troopers.
Yes.
They, were not hiring known actors. It was a huge budget. It was $150 million, and everything was going towards all the special effects and all of that. So I'm sure they, didn't have it in their budget to hire a bunch of name stars. Thank God, because we were all, unknowns. And
And then after that, that's when you became like a.
that's when I started to really, was able to work a lot.
And then the Wild Things obviously was a big
Yeah, I
deal.
did Wild Things right after Starship.
And now it's just crazy because I was like, God, that was such a big deal
I
that you
know.
kissed a girl.
Yeah, I know.
And now it's like if you haven't
It's-
kissed a girl,
it's no big deal.
you're a huge prude that
Yeah.
has an issue. Like
yeah,
I mean,
no,
it's like
it was,
and-
back then it was very risque and
yes, like
shocking.
such a big deal to see that on TV. Like or a
Right.
movie or whatever. Yeah. And so with that. So then you started to do then you became like more of a sex symbol and I think as like an actress, but also a real hot babe. Now when did you meet Charlie?
I met Charlie, and ironically, Lisa Rinna was on the same film
Uh-huh.
on Good Advice.
Oh, okay, yes.
We
We
did a
just were
movie
going
together.
through your resume,
Yeah.
your Wikipedia.
So
and
I
saw that.
met him there, and then a year later, I did an arc on Spin City after he took over for Michael J. Fox.
Right.
And that's when we started dating on there.
Okay. So this is a very small world.
It is a
because
small world.
okay, so then you started dating there, and did you know that he had issues, or were you just like blinded by love?
Yeah, but he was, he didn't have them at the time. You know,
Okay.
he had been sober for 4 years when I met him.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and you know, was obviously in a very different place than he went to after we got married. But yeah, he was in a different place than he was prior to that.
And you guys had like the big wedding. Was it covered by people? I feel like I saw the photos.
Yeah, people.
The big wedding, and did you like the Sheen family and everything?
Yeah, definitely.
They must have been.
And Martin's amazing.
I mean,
and
Martin
he's
must
so
have been
great.
like so happy that Charlie was marrying you. Was he?
No, it was a good thing. We were,
Yes.
you know, I was very close to his family, and I adore his dad.
Yeah.
He's a great grandpa, and you know, it was good. Charlie was definitely in a different place when we got married.
I mean, and I think that I remember just being like so shocked that you did leave him while you were pregnant with the second child, and I was like, oh, then she really knows. Because sometimes it takes getting pregnant with your first or your second. I had a friend who was with her husband for like 8 years, didn't get pregnant. The minute she did get pregnant is when she was like, all right, goodbye. Like, I don't want to
I think
continue
things
this.
changed
Like, you know.
during our marriage, obviously, and I, you know, was one that, my parents were still married, so I
Yes.
don't come from a
Right.
divorced family, and I wanted to stay married. I didn't want to get divorced, but some things happened, while I was pregnant, and we got divorced.
No, I mean, but I think that's a lot of, that takes a lot of strength.
Yeah, it definitely
to do
wasn't
that
easy.
Because, and it's not ideal, and in the public eye. And, and then I remember he went, like, on a talk show, and he was really charming, and, like, saying, like, I'm trying to win her back, and, the audience is cheering for him, and it's just like, now that puts pressure on you, you know what I mean? That the world is like, oh, can't they make it work?
It
And it's
is
like,
not easy going through anything challenging in your personal life, and I did not realize at the time that it was going to be as public as it was, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's humiliating, and you don't want things out there about your personal life, and it's hard enough dealing with it, and then, to have 2 babies, and also my mother was very ill at the time too, and dying, and to go through all that, it was not, it was definitely a very hard time.
And then when you did the reality show,
Yeah.
where I think I always just remember that you had pigs. I think that was a big thing that people like.
Yeah.
So that's when you were in Hidden Hills.
Yes.
And your dad was part of that, and that was after your mom had passed.
Yes, she had just passed away before that.
Yeah. And what made you decide to do that show?
Well, honestly, it was very difficult for me to get a job. People thought I was this, actress that was trying to take down this, Charlie, who's on a big TV show, and it was really difficult because I wanted to...
So do you think there was a little bit of, I don't want to say blackballing, but just powerful people being like, let's just not even go in that direction for these reasons?
I think it was my image was not good for their projects, and that was what was really difficult for me, because I felt I wanted to protect what was going on privately, but then what was public, I couldn't defend it. Otherwise, I'd have to go out and talk, and it's hard when you have... Charlie was on a big TV show. He had
that was when he was on the 2.5 Men,
yeah,
the biggest show ever.
A network and studio behind him. I can't go up against that. So I had to just keep my mouth shut, and I kept hoping it would pass. But it was hard because all I wanted to do was to protect the, what was going on, and I didn't want all that stuff out there. It was very hard. But so it was difficult for me to get a job. So I did the show, and Ryan Seacrest was amazing to work for.
Oh, he was the producer.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And
I didn't know that.
so hands-on and really wonderful. He's really great to work for.
And did the show come before or after when he married Brooke, and then you took the 2 little boys? Because that was when it was like...
So I did the show before he married Brooke.
Okay.
And then they weren't married very long, and then they,
So then he had the twins with Brooke, and then Brooke is still struggling today.
Right.
You said you don't read the tabloids, but there was a story today about Brooke.
About Brooke?
Yes. You want me to? It's very.
I don't even know about this.
Well, it's just it's.
I feel bad for her.
No, it is. I mean, she's. I don't even know. I had a dinner once with her mom through like Jill Zarer and Patty Zanger. It just was like a dinner in L.A.
See, it is a small world.
It is a very small world, and Brooke came with the mom, and I just sat down and I was like, oh my God, this is Brooke Mueller, and this is probably like 8 years ago. So she had the boys, she'd gotten divorced, but you know, at the time, I mean, she was good at the dinner, but it was, you know, in and out of rehab. And so anyway, the story in Page 6 today is that she was at the Hamptons and had a suitcase full of drugs, and she hung out with some people that have told the story. It's just like, it's just sad, and I know it's uncomfortable for you, so I don't want to like make it about that.
You know,
but I mean, I couldn't believe, like because I was working at Chelsea Lately at the time, and you know, we would read all this stuff, and I was like, Denise Richards is now taking or watching partial custody, whatever you want to call it, caring for the twin boys of her ex-husband and his second wife.
I know when you say it all like that, I'm like, this sounds crazy.
It doesn't sound crazy. I mean, it's like truly Saint Denise, which is why when I did one of the reenactments, I was like, Saint Denise. Because I was like, I mean, that's where the Catholic, I'm sorry. Like, you're just like, who else is going to do it?
That's what I'm like, I can't not. And it's my daughter's brothers.
Right.
So
you had them come into what house? The Hidden Hills house?
Hidden Hills, yes. And then we were
now
back
at this point, had you adopted Eloise?
Yeah.
So you had 5 kids.
I had 5 kids.
Under 5, probably.
Pretty much.
And
yeah. As a single mom.
And the pigs.
And the pigs and the dogs.
Was the dad living with you then?
My dad was living with me. So before the boys moved in with me during that time, I took care of them a lot. Brooke would call me and ask me to take them. So that is why it came up.
When she would ask you, like, what was the relationship when you were divorced, and then he's like, I fell in love with this woman, I'm marrying this woman. There was no
no relationship between me and her during that time.
But you didn't have any jealousy, or how would you feel when the girls were in her care? Would you?
I was not allowed at the house.
She said you're not allowed back then. When she was the childless second wife, you weren't allowed.
No.
Okay. And then what about when the girls would come to visit Charlie? Would you send a nanny, or was she watching them with Charlie?
There was definitely a nanny there.
Oh, okay.
The times that they were there. But it was, I think she felt threatened by, I always want to keep things good and positive and happy.
Yeah.
So, you know, it wasn't that way during that time. And then
So then she has the twins.
She has the twins, and when they split, and when she needed help, she would reach out to me, and despite anything, I still did not want that to affect the boys.
Right. So then you would be like, okay, let me get the 2 car seats and drive over there and get the twins.
I would get the boys, and they would stay for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was.
And would you be like, what's up? Are you coming back? Or she was just off to doing her thing?
I knew she was not
struggling.
Yeah,
yes,
was
with
not
drug
in a good
addiction.
place.
Yeah.
And so, and then when she was in a good place and they were good, then I would bring them back to her. So I took them a lot. So that's why it made sense for me to take them when you know, I guess.
And would Charlie be like, Denise, you are the greatest person on earth?
Well, you would think that. They were both struggling.
Yes, right. And so you had them for a while, and then what happened? What's the situation now? Do they still
I
visit
honestly
at all?
don't know.
So
I
the
really
girls
do not
see
know.
the boys
I have
much?
not seen Brooke in a long time.
Okay.
I haven't seen the boys, so I'm not really sure.
So you don't even know like where they're living?
I don't know what's going on.
And
with it.
and your daughters don't see them?
We don't know what's going on.
God. That's so.
I'm sure that they're in good hands and.
Well, I mean, I know the grandmother. You know, I'm sure she's very helpful. The grandmother I met, Brooke's mom.
Absolutely.
So I would think that at least they have that foundation. You know, so. Yeah. But God, that is so hard.
Well, I have a lot of empathy for her, and I hope that she finds her way and gets better and can be the best mom she can be for the boys.
And so then Charlie had his whole freak out with the tiger's blood and stuff. And and then did his live show. I remember that. Do you remember that when you went on tour?
Mm-hmm.
And what was your thoughts then? Like, what was going on during that time? Were you just like...
I just wanted him to be well.
Yeah.
You know, it made me sad actually to see it. That's someone that's not, you know, he wasn't in a good place at that time.
Right. But then he ends up doing this other show, the anger management show, on FX, didn't that? And that ran for like 90 episodes.
Yeah, they did, I think actually 100 episodes of the show.
I mean, that's pretty amazing
It
that he was
is.
able to, like, you know,
I know.
get it together, show up, do all those episodes.
Right.
And how did he feel when, did you share with him before you did the Housewives or anything?
Yeah, I did. I told him, I said, you know, I might be doing the Housewives, and he said, you know, because I respect his opinion, obviously,
Right, yeah.
and being in the business and everything, and he thought it was be great.
That's good.
Yeah, he was
That's
actually
great.
very supportive of it.
I mean, just the little bit of interaction that he's had with the phone calls and stuff, I thought, you know, was good.
yeah,
You know, with
no,
like
it's-
the going to the dance and all that kind of stuff. And then I also just really, I think that in you being on the show, why people just relate to you so much in so many ways is you are this actress, but you really are just a working mom who has a lot of guilt, Catholic guilt,
right.
about missing the moments, which I do too, because I'm a performer, so I had a television show that would keep me from going to poetry day or
Right.
and then there's times on weekends and things where I remember I was in Arizona on Mother's Day weekend doing like a whole weekend, and my agent's like, it's a really big weekend. Everyone's going to want to bring their mom to see Heather McDonald do stand-up. So, like, you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. And I remember at my hotel, it's like Mother's Day brunch. And I'm just like by myself. And it's just, you're so grateful to be doing what you do and have the funds and everything. But in the end, you're a mom that is missing out. And so just the fact that you were so sad to actually, like, be missing the homecoming dance
Right.
and all that kind of stuff, and how then, your daughter's so like a comment knowing that you're the
Right.
but it's true. I mean,
I
there's
think it's
this
part with a lot of it's funny, I got a lot of comments about that episode too, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of parents, moms and dads,
Yes.
relate to it because it is hard. When you're a working parent,
yeah
it's that finding that balance of trying, okay, you have to work, but you have kids, and figuring that out.
I think dads miss their kids and stuff, but they don't carry like the genetic guilt that a mom does, because they're like, oh, I'm providing for my family.
Right.
And
I can
that's
see
what I
that.
do, and my
Right.
dad did it too, and we are like, oh my God, I didn't get to do that. And then I also think women, as much as we want to support each other, there's that weird working mom, non-working mom, stay-at-home mom jealousy where they see someone like you or whatever, and they're really jealous that they're not pursuing their career. And so therefore you come into the classroom, this has been my experience, and I'm like so excited to have the one day off that I can do the classroom shit, but I don't know how to do it. And I'm like, so wait,
there's
what
a
are
lot
we
of
doing? And they're like,
judgment.
well, you're cutting it wrong. You're cutting it wrong. I'm like, oh God, fuck. Like just.
No, there's so much judgment too if you're
Yeah.
a working mom and you're not there all the time.
Right.
Yeah, no, I know.
And then it's like, oh, what are you doing here? Oh, well, there's a little thing. And you were able to make it? That's awesome. And then they're all pissed because they are spending so many hours there. And it's true, the school couldn't run without them. So I want to
You're
thank
so
them.
funny.
I
You
want
have
to
to
thank them for that. But at the same time, I'm like, well, I'm sorry. I'm
no,
sorry
it's
that
hard.
maybe you shouldn't have volunteered for 8,400 hours this year.
True.
And then you wouldn't be so freaking pissed about it. That's why whenever I have like a suggestion for something like the auction, I just tell it to my friend who's at the school with me, but I go, okay, that's as far as it's going to go. Because unless I'm going to take it over, no one wants to hear your fucking suggestion.
Right, that's
So
true.
I'm like, I also know that could be super annoying. You know what you should do next year? Like, those women are going to lose their mind. So it's like, I think that's what people really saw about you. And then, of course, with your daughter Eloise, she's so cute. It's
Thank
so,
you.
and it's so special to see. How is she doing?
She's good. She's happy and
Yeah, she's always so
she's
happy.
a happy
yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old is she now?
She's 8.
She's 8.
Yeah.
And then what is like? Does she go to a special school, or does she have?
She
how
was
does it work?
doing private
Okay.
all year, and we're going to be putting her back into a school, but it's going to be a special school.
Yeah.
We've done the public with AIDS. It's just it's hard.
It's hard to figure out what
difficult.
works.
It really is, because she doesn't talk.
Yeah.
But she's not hard of hearing. You
Right.
know? So that was the other thing, and she's not autistic. So
right.
it's really
kind of
hard.
like she has a very difficult
She
diagnosis.
does, and it's extremely challenging
Uh-huh.
for you know, teachers and
Yeah.
therapists, to be honest. It's difficult.
Yeah. When did you notice that something wasn't right? Because you got her as an infant,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Well,
And what made you want to adopt? Was that something you always?
I always wanted to adopt.
Yeah, that's what I
yeah.
find when people
Yeah.
have both their biological and adopted children. It's usually like as a kid,
Mhm.
they had this vision of.
Yeah, I always
having
thought
both,
I would
yeah.
adopt too.
So then once your girls were how old? A little bit older. They were like 4 and 5 or something.
They were, well, let's see. Lola is 6 years older than Eloise.
Uh-huh.
So they were 6 and 7
Yeah.
when I adopted her.
And it had so then you went. Was it a long search or like how
it was
long?
a
you
year
been-
and a half process.
Okay.
And there was, you know, a few situations that,
You fell through.
yeah.
That's very heartbreaking.
But it is, but I also knew that it wasn't meant to be.
Right.
And the right baby would, I believe we choose our parents, and I
Yes.
felt that the right baby, you know, would find me, and I felt that my mom was involved in bringing
Right.
Eloise to me. But when Eloise was an infant, I started to notice certain milestones that she wasn't reaching.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, we thought, well, she's just a late developer.
Mhm.
But if I had biologically had her, I would have said genetically this isn't on track of the
Right.
older girls. There might be something, but with her it was, you know, it was different. And
Yeah.
it wasn't anything. At first, it was low muscle tone
Mhm.
because she wasn't able to. It took her a long time to crawl.
Mm.
That's when we, probably about 9 months, we started to see that it wasn't, you know, she wasn't reaching your typical milestone for
Yeah.
an infant. But she started crawling when she was 15 months and walking when she was 2,
Mm-hmm.
which is late.
Yeah.
You know, and as far as her vocabulary, she can only say a few words, but she
Mhm.
wants to, and that's the thing. It's not just speech.
Yeah.
It's almost like a firing in her brain that's
Yes.
not making that connection. You know, there's times where she seems much younger than she is,
Yeah.
and other times where her memory is more advanced than her age, too.
Like, what do you mean?
She can remember so many things.
Really?
Yes.
That's really interesting.
So her memory is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But her, you know, I said this actually at the reunion
Yeah.
with, you know, even swimming, like for her to, she's taken a lot of swim lessons.
Yes.
She would not be able to, she still can't swim on her own.
Oh, okay.
You know, I would obviously have to always watch her.
Yeah.
She can't save her, you know, if she goes in deep water, she can't swim out. So there's like a connection that's not processing.
Yes.
So it's not just even her speech,
Right.
but she's doing good.
Yeah.
And she's super happy.
I love her name.
Oh, thank you.
It's like I mean, how did you come up with the name? It's such like a
I always loved that name.
like Eloise the Plaza, whatever.
Yeah.
From
I
that
just
book.
it was
yeah.
just a name I had always loved.
Yeah, it's really cute. It's really cute. Okay, so let's get into some more stuff. Okay, so now, were you sad that you didn't get to go to the France?
Yes.
I know.
I was so excited. They laugh at me too because I'm like, I'm so excited about our trips.
Now, did you think that before doing the show? Like, hey, like, 'cause I think that would be the best part of doing it. Now, I know
The
it's a
trips?
lot of travel, and I know the trips aren't relaxing, but how else are you gonna like stay in a fancy mansion like that for free? You know?
Well, you know, it's funny because watching the show, you see a lot of stuff usually goes down
Yes.
drama-wise on these trips.
Right.
But, yeah, no, my first trip, I was so excited right after we started filming was Bahamas.
Right.
I thought, this will be fun. We get to go to the Bahamas.
Now,
and-
when you came all casual and they like
Yeah.
had their glam squads and stuff. Now you said you watched the show.
Yes.
Now I still thought you looked cute no matter what, top
Thank
not
you.
what. But did you think maybe you
Well,
should.
we were in the Bahamas. It
Yeah.
wasn't like we were in Berlin or Amsterdam.
Right.
Or we're, going to fancy restaurant. That's a little different. But when you're on a tropical trip,
Well,
me,
I never pull out my hair ever when I'm in like humidity. I just go, I full
I
full
thought
natural.
it would be much more casual than some of the other trips that they had been on.
Right, yeah.
So that is for real. But I thought I was dressed up with because my shorts did have some sparkle on them.
Yes.
So they were fancy shorts.
And then your wedding dress, you went with the romper.
I did. What they didn't show on the show was we left on Aaron's motorcycle.
Oh, so
I
you needed to have.
I did not want to do. I was trying to figure out how do I do a dress on the motorcycle
Right.
without it flying up.
Yes. So that's why you did the shorts.
Yes.
And then you had the other piece.
Yeah.
For when you walked
Mhm.
down.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that they all like arrived late and then had to leave. No, they didn't arrive late. You arrived late.
I did. You know what? We forgot what time we even set the damn wedding. Isn't that funny? Because it was changed a couple times and it was so quick, like planning. Yeah, there was a point where like, what time did we tell everyone to come?
And then they but then they all left, so they all had something else to do.
I know, but that's okay. I'm glad they even showed up because of for them
Yeah.
to take the time to come all the way to Malibu,
Yeah.
last minute.
And do the whole.
We're all busy,
do
so
the
I
whole
get it.
shebang.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
Okay, so when you wait, let me. I've got some questions here. Okay. Oh, first of all, Patrick Muldoon.
Yes, one of my best friends.
So I went to USC
You did?
when he was there. Now he was like maybe 3 years older, but everyone knew who Patrick Muldoon was.
I'm
He
sure they
was
did.
like on like the hot guy calendar.
Oh, yes. 'Cause
He was a Sigma Chi, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, and dated girls I knew. And then after that, right after school, got out, we'd be like, oh my God, did you see him on Melrose Place? Did you see him on this? And then we'd go to the SC game and it'd be, there's Patrick Muldoon with this other
Right.
guy, Sean. God, what's his name? Sean. He was a really hot, Shane Foley. Shane Foley, he was a football
remember
player.
Shane.
Do you remember Shane Foley?
Yeah.
He was a model too, but he was also a football player.
yes.
And they were like buddies. So then like you'd go to the pre-party like in
Right.
our 20s and it was like, oh my God, Shane Foley, Patrick Muldoon are at Julie's.
I love that you went to SC.
Thank you. When did you guys date?
I met him when he was at SC.
Oh really?
Yeah. I was 19 when I met him, and we met in an acting class, but we were friends. We weren't dating
Uh-huh.
at that time. But we went out on a date, and then I was traveling a lot, and just stayed in touch. But our paths always had crossed, and we probably started dating a little bit before Starship Troopers, and then stopped, and then started dating again during that filming, and we were together like 5 years.
Oh, you were?
Mhm.
Like solid 5 years?
Yeah, I would say so, like on and off, but more
On and off, and then
for about 5 years.
before
yeah.
Charlie.
Yes.
And then when did he get with Lisa Rinna?
I think right before the Starship Trooper.
Right before you?
Yeah. Yeah. So there was a time where it was kind of both. I know.
And now, have you and Lisa Rinna, how has your friendship been, like, all these years? Have you always been friends? Were you more just, like, acquaintances, and now you become good friends? Like, how close are you?
I would say in the last 10 years, we've been really close friends. And then prior to that, we were friends, but we were, in and out of each other's lives, traveling, and when we would be in the same
Right.
city, we would get together for dinner or whatever. But I think we've gotten really close in the last 10
So
years.
when you found out she was going to do it, like, a few years
I
ago?
thought we were so excited, all of us.
And then was she like, you got to do it too? I mean, was she at all instrumental in you joining?
Yes. Yeah.
So
for
she
sure.
was like bugging
Yeah.
you for a few years?
She wasn't bugging me, but
Yeah.
she would ask me without bugging. She goes, "I just want to put this in your ear." I'm like, she had
I just
fun
want
with
to put
it.
this in your ear, Denise Richards. We
Exactly.
could go on trips together. Do you know how many freaking dusters I have sold since the show? Harry fucking Hamlin doesn't have to take another job that he doesn't like.
It's true. She works her
Yeah.
ass off, and
I'm a hustler. She's a hustler.
I know. She's not afraid to say it.
No.
I love that about her. She fucking works her ass off.
Well, I think
and
that's
she's really
the honesty
funny
is there. It's like, don't pretend. It's like,
No.
and how she knows how hard it is to,
Yeah,
do a
she
show.
does-
And now, I was talking to her, and she's like, well, God, Harry has like done medical dramas and he's done these, lawyer things where there's so much that you have to
Yeah.
memorize. And she was like, I've got the easiest job. I can just drink. And then later on, I think then it's like, yes, it might be fun to drink and have fun. But all the shit that goes around it must be so stressful emotionally, I know, on real.
Well, it's hard. You can't blame it on a script.
Yeah.
So if you open your mouth and say something, it's hard that,
Right.
it's not a character you're playing. That was the biggest thing I thought of when I joined the show.
Was what?
I thought it had to be fucking scripted. So when I sat down with the producers,
Yeah.
I was like, so how do you do this? And, we were like, it's not scripted. I'm like, I was shocked.
But didn't Lisa tell you it wasn't? Or you thought it was more?
I didn't even talk to her about
But
that
I mean, how
until
scripted
later.
did you think it was?
I thought it was softly scripted.
Like
with
you
the
guys-
fights. I thought
like
with
you
those
thought,
fights.
hey, you guys are going to go to this restaurant, and
Yes.
you're going to say this, and she's going to say this, and then you're going to bring up the fact that she didn't bring you a gift.
Absolutely.
You thought it was like that.
I did.
Okay. And it's not.
It's not. So Lisa and we didn't get into that until after I met with the producers. I'm like, this is not scripted? And she's like, no.
So then do you think the culmination of the whole Lisa Vanderpump, and I mean, it's safe to say she's said it herself, she's not coming back. It's not a question anymore. I believe, from what I've read, she's not coming back. Is that your understanding?
I have no idea. I mean,
okay, well, that's what she's tweeting. That's what. Whatever.
I mean, if she's
I don't
saying
know if
she's
it's
not coming back.
I mean,
then
I don't know
guess
that
she's not.
Bravo has sent a statement, but like she has said, like, I've left the building and all these kind of cryptic tweets.
Right.
And do you think that's because it kind of came to the thing where they sort of realized that she has manipulated it in a way that was not intended throughout the years, the storylines?
I think that, when it's hard to be on this show if you don't have a friend on the show.
Right.
So, although I do think that her and Kyle will be able to repair.
You do.
I think so. I mean, they've been through so much, but maybe not. Maybe she's wanting to just, focus on her other show. She's also gone through a lot personally.
Yeah.
So, who knows? But honestly, it's like, who knows what can happen.
Right, or maybe it'll have to be like a whole nother year.
Maybe.
Before they
I think that she's gone through so much personally, and she has another show that she's she has Vanderpump Rules and all that, and but I have no idea. This was my first season, so for all this to happen during my season, I have no idea.
Well, the greatest was
really
just you were just
on.
like, I can't keep up, and you'd be like,
couldn't.
you'd have that confused look, like, what?
I really could
who
not
said
figure
what?
out what the fuck they were talking about.
You
in the
didn't
beginning.
understand the
No.
Puppygate.
I didn't because there were conversations that happened before the first dinner in the Bahamas, so that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
And I wasn't involved with, so I didn't know what the fuck they were fighting about.
Like, I had read, in the tablet, whatever, the radar online, I had read or seen things like, hey, their girls are filming, and there's a whole thing about a dog and Dorit and Vanderpump Dogs. Like, I had seen that, okay? The show starts, and I reach out to Teddy, because she'd been on my show before, and I was like, hey, what did you like to do the show? And this is like, maybe you guys have had like 4 episodes. And
it started airing, or that we shot?
That started airing.
Okay.
And when she explained to me her whole thing, at the time I couldn't understand it. I mean, I did a whole interview on it, and I still
don't know all the details.
I still was like kind of confused in how Teddy was part of it, and then tried to get out of it, and then but was being honest, and I'm gonna own it, and hey, I did this, and I said that, and like just how she was like, and I think that she was freaking out about it because she was like, I look like a bitch. I look like I was part of this manipulation to like get Dorit in a bad situation, or show her up for what, for the mistake she made, which clearly I think everyone can agree, it was not intended that the dog end up in a place that might end its life.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually a really good learning lesson for anybody now that does adopt a dog or foster a dog, is that you just take it back to the original place.
Right.
I don't think that's a known thing that everybody knew. I don't think that's a common knowledge. Like if before the show if you were to test people and they'd say, okay, you adopted a dog from best friend Simi Valley, and 6 months later you're moving to an apartment that doesn't accept dogs and your best friend says she'll take the dog, and you give your best friend the dog. Do you think you did anything wrong? I think most people would say, no, I don't think I did.
Right.
You know, I don't think that everybody knew that they
should take
absolutely the protocol is you call the, you know, and so but I think that's then why the cast and stuff then felt bad for her. But I am still not convinced who said the story.
I don't know.
Because there's so many people when you think of every audio guy and every guy that worked at Vanderpump and every girl that, you know, was an assistant.
That's why
and
I was like, how about we agree this got out of hand.
Yes.
It sucks that it happened and it's shitty, but let's move on from it.
Yeah.
You know.
I felt like Loosey Goosey, Apple Juicy was this generation's
a dog Barbie of Loosey Goosey, Apple Juicy.
I mean, I have a couple dogs, but none that look like him exactly. So, but people are sending me dogs, Barbies. People are sending me older Barbies. So the Barbie that I did for Erica Jane was not my original Erica Jane. Someone sent me a Barbie that had like movable legs. So then I made her do the bottle cap with the movable leg.
Oh, that's
because,
so great.
And now I'm getting so many that are like that.
So you have a lot.
Which is nice too.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, let me see why we're taking this out. Let me just see what else I have for you. Oh, okay, so I saw that you did a movie called Blonde and Blonder with Pamela Anderson.
Yes.
What was that about?
Blonde and Blonder.
Was it like a comedy or
It was
what?
a comedy, yeah.
Was a full movie or a blockbuster or what was it?
I don't know where it ended up actually.
When was that? When was it done? You've never seen it?
No, I've never seen it. I don't watch a lot of my stuff though. It was done, God, probably in 2006, I would think.
So now you say you don't watch a lot of your stuff.
Yeah.
I sometimes would do things and I'd put it off to watch it. Like, you know, like you DVR it and then I'm like, I don't have to watch it tonight. I don't have to watch it tomorrow. I don't have to, you know. And
actually,
then eventually,
it was hard for me to even watch our show.
But that you had to, right?
I had to because of the blogs.
Right.
Because when I was doing some stuff, I'm like, I'm not going to watch this. I've been a fan of the show for so long. I thought, oh, this sucks. I'm not even going to be able to watch the show anymore. And they're like, you have to watch it because you have to do the blogs.
And then was it weird?
It was very weird. It's hard.
To watch, like, because you've only...
It's painful. I do not like watching myself anyway, you know, unscripted. And then to watch this, I'm like, shit, I said that. Or, you know, to see yourself in a certain
How did your
light.
Girls feel about it? Were they okay with what they were?
I didn't think they were going to watch it because it's an adult show.
Yeah.
And then it's not like we sat down as a family and watched it.
But they watched.
They would tell me certain things that they saw, and I was like, why are you watching the show?
What would they say?
And they'll say, Mom, I can't believe you said something. I'm not even going to tell you what I saw or heard you say. Oh, I'm very sorry. There's certain things that, you know.
But how are they with themselves? Like when your one girl walked out and she's like, I can't walk in these shoes. You're like, fam, wear tennis shoes. Who cares? Like, was there
hard
anything
for them
like
to
that?
watch themselves too. It's you know, it's, I don't know.
Right.
They're the same way as I am.
And how were they like when, okay, today the cameras are coming at noon, FYI, like what's that like?
I told them from beginning, if you want to shoot something, you can. If you don't have to. There's no pressure.
Right.
And, you know, there were times that they were like, I'm doing my homework, I don't want to, and I'm like, that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
I never would want to obviously pressure. They're not in it that much.
Right.
Even. You know, very little. And so the times that they're on, they wanted to be in. There was definitely no pressure.
Now, the finale party was the real estate party. Now, I am worried that if you stay on this show, that you're going to start wearing wigs. And I need you to promise me now that you will not start wearing wigs.
Why do you think I'm going to wear wigs?
It's gotten out of control with the wigs. It's like, come on,
I don't
that was
have
a
hair
real
pieces.
estate.
This is all my hair.
Okay, good.
By the way.
This is all my hair. I have no problem with people doing stuff like that.
I love the way they look with their wigs and stuff.
It's like too much, though.
But sorry.
Okay, it's fine. Whatever.
I
it's
think
fun
it's
for
fun
us
because it's like that's when I before I was on the show, I could not wait to see what Erica and Dorit, especially both of those two, were going to look like.
Maybe you're right. Maybe
full head to toe. I think that's who they are, and I think it's fun. I won't wear wigs just because.
I'm pissed that Lisa Rinna wore a wig for the reunion because that's going to fuck up my whole Barbie situation.
You're going to have to add extensions to her
or
hair.
I'm going to I probably will find another Barbie and try to fix that hair.
And forth.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't get a wig for a Barbie.
No, that's true.
And I have the dress. I have the green
So you're
dress.
going to have to like take a brunette and cut it a little bit to match the wig. You probably will have to get a Barbie for the reunion.
But it's a blondie. It's like a blondie.
It's like an ombre.
Lob. Or whatever you call it. Long bob.
Long bob.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just don't. I see that. Well, because Teddy was very cash, and she kind of upped her game.
Right.
So I just wonder, are you going to start having 4 people come over?
No.
Before a real estate party? No.
Uh-uh.
But do you get your makeup done for some of the things?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I am very girly. I love to get dressed up and all that shit. But I think because for when I go to work, I can go in a lot of times my call time's 5 or 6 in the morning.
Right, in the Uggs and
Yeah, so when I, wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't feel like getting all dressed up going to set.
Yeah.
So when I get there, I get, my hair and makeup done, they put me in my wardrobe, and then, that's it. So I think that my everyday, usually I'm really super casual.
Right.
Running around with kids or even meeting for lunch. We're in Los Angeles where you can go in flip-flops and a tank top for lunch here.
Right.
But but going to parties and events and red carpet and all that, obviously I love.
Then you'll get all the glammed up.
I have hair and makeup done and get dressed up.
So you're at the real estate party. You go to the bathroom, which I just showed you had penises all over the wall, which I did not realize.
I cannot believe I missed that.
Because Camille was freaking out and really, a lot of people just, have different ideas of why she kind of like really let everyone have it. Was it her own personal breakdown? Because she really did have an awful year and last couple of years in the house or whatever. But you, we kind of finally saw you get a little bit pissed.
Well, so the night before was the dinner where she.
It was just the night before.
Yeah, laid into Dorit. I think it was the night before, or 2 nights ago.
Okay.
It was really close together. And I felt, I can't even remember if they aired the part. Basically, I told her she needed to apologize to her because I didn't understand. I understood why her feelings were hurt with them at the time coming at her at the dinner. Yeah,
about they were coming at her about why did you say those nice things about Lisa Vanderpump when she didn't come to your wedding? And I'm like, well, the article was done kind of before the wedding. And I think her article was like, she just merely mentioned that like Lisa Vanderpump was supportive of her wedding.
I didn't read the article, but I know that they felt that she talked about everyone negatively.
Throughout the you mean? Yes, we saw all that, yes.
And so for a lot of them who, made arrangements for their kids, changed work obligations to be there for her wedding and support her, they felt, I think, slighted by that. That's all.
Well, I think the other part of it is that you guys being veterans on the show, but also some of you being professional actresses, like that when someone just gets out of a big, long shooting trip, kind of pisses the ones that had to do it off. Like it seems a little unfair, and I kind of see that sometimes with the anger where they won't say that because you're not supposed to break the fourth wall. But it's like, I think that's some of the resentment coming from people.
I think that they felt they were there and very supportive of her, and then they had heard her talk about them. It wasn't so much just the People magazine article. They're supportive. If Camille obviously can have a relationship and friendship with whoever she wants to have, but they all made a lot of changes to show up for her wedding, and then to find out that she was talking about all of them behind their back was hurtful for them.
Yeah.
But for me at the dinner, I think it should just stayed on just that instead of bringing up stuff that had nothing to do with any of that. That's where I didn't understand why she was coming up to read.
Yeah.
What did her finances have to do with, them mentioning
Yeah.
her wedding.
And I mean, isn't there like isn't there like a thing like we're not going to talk about these things legally? We're not really allowed to talk about them anyway. And it's and then someone brings it up, and it's like
field. That's why I didn't understand. Like,
right.
Where is this coming from? It was inappropriate. It shouldn't have been discussed at a table with all of us, and it had nothing to do with what they were all talking about.
Well, that's why I kind of admired Dorit for then addressing it the next day in the next scene with her husband, because I'm like, she's like, yeah, this happened. It sucks. It's affected my business, and no one knows all the details, of anything like that, and it happens, and it's like, you don't really want that publicized, but if it's already out there, and then you bring it up,
a friendship, nothing.
Yeah.
And it's, to me, I was just shocked that it even was brought up because it came out of left field. It had nothing to do with anything they were talking about at the table.
Yeah. It was really, well, so you can't talk about the reunion. We're going to watch that tomorrow night. Is it 3 parts?
Yeah, it's 3 parts.
And how did you feel about that morning? Were you, you know how long a day it is?
Yeah, no, I was excited to see everyone and, you know, all of that. And then everyone started to then make me nervous, like, how are you doing? And I thought, well, shit, should I be nervous about this? It was a very long day.
Yes.
Yeah. But
isn't it always like you get there early and you start taping for like 8-10 hours?
I mean, we got out of there at like almost 9 o'clock at night. We were there really early. But it was interesting, that's for sure. And being a fan of the show and seeing like how the reunion is taped and all that and the dynamics of everything, it's a lot.
And then when you were doing the confessional, I mean, obviously the greatest confessional moment was when you talked about the hooker on Thanksgiving. And did you decide how much you would share? Because I mean, as great as that story was, I was a little surprised that you were even that honest, which I think is amazing to be that honest. It's not a surprising story knowing that everyone knows Charlie's history.
Yeah, I didn't think
so.
it was
actually
so
makes
crazy.
sense, but it's just so great that it's like, well, let me go get her a plate. Like, just...
Sometimes I'm a little too honest. And that's the thing, seeing this show, I was like, oh, holy shit.
Is Charlie watching and has he had any issue with anything?
He did mention that one.
Oh, that part?
Incident,
okay.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And what did he say? Did he remember that Thanksgiving?
Yeah, actually, afterwards, I guess he gave a statement or a quote to I think People magazine or something.
Saying what?
I don't even know what the whole thing was that he said, but he admitted it. But yeah, no, he wasn't happy with me, and I probably shouldn't have said it, but whatever, I did. I didn't think it was such a big thing because he was very open and honest about that.
Well,
part
yeah,
of his
it's like
life,
no
and
one's gonna doubt the story.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
But it just
think
was like an added element of like, yeah, that was your life at that time.
Yeah. No,
you know, you had the 1 minute you have 5 kids under 5, the next you're bringing a plate out to the.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to leave her in the
Thanksgiving.
driveway.
Yeah, and she was hungry.
Exactly.
And then when you're like, when you show up in the outfit for the real estate party, you're like, I look like a hooker. Well, actually, I know hookers and they don't really dress like this. Or I've seen hookers. It's like,
I know,
and I'm like,
terrible.
But it is true because we always think that because it's like out of like a movie from the the 70s that you're gonna be all dressed up, but most of the time, it's just hey,
right,
some chick eating a turkey breast.
No, it's true
at your house. Okay, I'm going to let you go, but so now for lately you've been doing a lot of Hallmark movies prior to the Housewives, like you're kind of like the Hallmark movie queen, which is amazing because so many people love these movies. They like
the Christmas movies.
They just bring joy to people.
Well, it's nice I could do something my kids could see if they want to see it.
Yeah, so I mean, how many have you done? You've done a lot, right?
I don't know. I mean, some of them are independents, and they're not Hallmark.
Oh,
they're different things. So I'm just
and so like what is going on
working and
now that you've got this, that your profile has exploded, and that fortunately you're super popular. Now, are you scared about second season?
I don't know. Everyone scared me about the first one. Like right after I signed on, people were like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I was like, "Well, shit, should I not be doing this?"
Yeah.
Because a lot of times your first season too, they're not as. It's
well, what happens
oftentimes
what happens with season 2 is when you're so beloved, the first season, they either edit you a shitty season or the girls are jealous and something happens, but oftentimes the second season then for the person that really came off great, their second season can be tough.
Well, that'll.
So as a professor of Real Housewives, I think just keep that in mind. You can break the mold. It doesn't have to happen.
I'm gonna try. And
But
break
just
the
know,
mold.
but just know that there could be unconscious traps kind of getting to take you down.
I just need to watch my mouth.
No, you don't.
No,
That's what's
'cause
saving you.
Sometimes I say too much.
Yeah, but nothing you say, but you don't say anything like hurtful to other people. It's more just like your honesty about your life and calling it like it is. There's some people that are really great on the Housewives, but they are, I mean, like snarky writers, and it's just like, I can't believe she said that. That's amazing. It's really mean, but it's accurate. But it's mean, but it's snarky.
Right.
Like I don't think your stuff is mean.
Well, thank you. I think what I can say about the women is I genuinely have developed a friendship with all of them.
Yeah, all of you guys seem
They're
very
so
tight.
great.
Yeah.
And even if you put 6 women together with strong women, opinionated, you're gonna have some flare-ups.
Yeah.
And then, they all support one another.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, if one of them needs us to come help support them at an event or a cause or whatever they have going on, we definitely are there for each other. And I love that about them.
This is what I like about the show is that yes, you guys, they have come together. They are, all of them now have been on the show besides you for quite a while, even Teddy. And so it's like, and they really genuinely like each other and enjoy each other, and I like that. And I've been saying this for now years, okay? So you've heard it near on Jesus You. I think there needs to be a little more breaking of the fourth wall.
I do too.
Because I'm like, you're in LA, you're former actresses, you're doing this show, like, what,
Everyone knows there's,
yeah, it's like,
guy
yeah,
there.
exactly. Well, like,
we can acknowledge the cameras
on Real
even.
Housewives of Potomac, I don't know if you watched that one, but they had a very juicy thing happen, which is this one girl's husband was accused of groping a male cameraman's ass. And he had already been accused of saying, I want to suck a dick, which they caught on a hot mic. Okay? So, and prior to that, there was social media receipts of him pursuing a man or whatever. So this is a storyline for them. But on this, they were like, the girls were like, oh my God, I wondered what happened to that cameraman. Remember him? And they were saying it, like, because they had to address it.
They had to acknowledge
and they show them, getting their hair and makeup done to do a confessional, and that's when the news comes up. And they kind of do that on the Kardashians. And I'm like, I just think, especially if they replace Vanderpump with like another maybe former actress or current actress, which I think that they should. I'd like to see someone else that we somewhat know or has, but living their life when they're not acting.
Right.
But like, this is their town, these are their friends, they know you, they know Rinna, they've met other people at events, they can, merge in. That's what I would like to see happen. That I think would take it into a fresher direction.
I agree with breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah. I mean, not all the time.
But sometimes.
It's like, we know you guys are doing a show. We
know.
know that you have businesses thriving because you have this other way of promoting it.
Right.
So it's like, that's what I like about it. Are you getting involved in any businesses? Are you stepping on Lisa Rinna's dusters?
No, I'm not stepping on her dusters.
Or
There's only one duster.
Do you have a Denise bikini?
Yeah, Dorit has a Denise bikini for me.
Cute.
Which it's the hot pink one. So
Oh, that's
I love it.
good. Yeah, I love the neon colors. And so what's your plan? Just to continue to act, or are
I love acting, and that's the greatest thing about this show is it's a slice of my life, what's going on, and then also all of us integrating with each other, and that's what I like about watching this show is it's all of the women together, and then you see a little bit of us each, in our
Now,
life.
are you afraid that there might be an opportunity that's too big that will now be a conflict with the Housewives? Like,
no, because they'll film me shooting.
So even if you
Do you know
got
what I mean?
if you
So
got like a major show series,
Yeah,
this wouldn't keep you from taking that.
because they shoot
That's really good.
my professional life too.
See, that's so good that you
You
guys.
have to, because it's otherwise, how can it be a reality show?
Right.
You know, that's my job. I'm not working.
But I mean, as someone that's in the business, I'm happy to hear that, because I'm like, that would be a real
I worked
problem
during
if you had to like ever turn down
something
great because you have to go to whatever.
They filmed other projects, and the show's only an hour a week, so there's only so much they can put on there. But they definitely, they want us to continue doing what's going on with us. Otherwise, how do you integrate that within the other parts of the show?
Yeah, because Erica Jane, she does her thing.
Yeah, no.
Sold out in
all
Chicago.
have all this. Yeah. I have to, before I leave, take a picture.
Oh, let's take
of you.
We will do
us, and I have to do one with
Erin,
my doll.
I love it.
You're so funny answering the door with the doll.
I know, I answered the door.
You're hilarious.
Denise, you have not disappointed. This was amazing. I loved talking to you. I'm excited that you're coming back. I'm excited for what they do. Tell them they can call me if they like my opinions. Who I don't know.
Maybe you should come on.
God, I'd love it. But it might be a little weird. She made Barbies of us, I like, just enjoying the girls, and I never say that I want anyone to go. I'm just like, okay, if there's a spot now, I'd like to see everyone return, but if they hire anybody, I'd kind of like to see someone of some profile.
I'll tell them.
Yes, that's what I think. I think, also I just think I think that's what separates Beverly Hills, kind of, that there are real actresses. Or that came from Hollywood, like Kyle having a Hollywood background, and I think that's
where we live.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it interesting. Denise, your Instagram's blowing up. Did you have many people before?
No, I'm terrible with it.
No, you're not. You post
I'm getting
good
better.
stuff.
Thank you.
You post good stuff.
But prior to that, I'm awful. Like, even Lisa Rinna was like, you gotta do something about your Instagram. You do not post enough.
Does she want you to start dancing?
No, she just wants me to post more, and it takes up a lot of time.
I know. This is the thing. People don't realize how time consuming it is. When everyone's like, oh, she's a social influencer. I'm like, that's a work ethic. Like, I'm like, there's people that I'm like, you don't have the work ethic to be a social influencer. Right. You don't. Like, it's a lot to do.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot to think about it, and you all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, I've been on my phone for 2 hours. Like, this is crazy.
It is time consuming.
Denise, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't need to tell everybody where to find you.
To meet you.
Follow her. She's a real delight, and we'll be watching the reunion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my God, I'm so excited, Denise, to have you in your reunion outfit doing the Juicy Scoop podcast. And Aaron, you look hotter than ever.
He does. I'm so excited to be here.